Imagine having such an insane work ethic that you end up using it as a psychological weapon against your opponent. Yet he worked so hard, he used this to instill fear in his opponent. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Kobe Bryant. There is having work ethic, and then there's having Kobe Bryant like Mamba type, bite the shit out of you type of work ethic. And today we're going to be breaking down why he has such a strong work ethic, the engine, what motivated him, and above all, how you guys can use his work ethics blueprint to distinguish yourself from other people. I'll be honest with you, when Kobe Bryant was alive, I really took him for granted. I didn't think he was that special until I heard this motherfucker talk. Now, let's first talk about his personality type, because Kobe had a specific type of personality that gave him an advantage. He was what people called, he was an ISFJ. Now, what type of people are they? They're characterized by a strong sense of responsibility, attention to detail, and a meticulous intensity for the detail. He was detailed oriented. And the obsession with the details, the obsessions with the little things, made him such a unique person. Because it's very normal for people to become obsessed about the general things. But just like with Leonardo da Vinci that we talked about in the last video about Leonardo da Vinci's work ethic, the obsession to detail is the hallmark of a hard worker. People who are not hard workers do not pay attention to detail. Because the secret to anything is in the little things. And above all, his family members was something that also was unique to his environment, right? Because from his kids, to uncle, to dad, to cousins, Kobe Bryant said that he was surrounded by highly motivated and competitive people. And naturally, through a process of osmosis, and you could see how a kid who is an ISFJ, being detail-oriented and being surrounded by people who were highly competitive, and then on top of the fact, his dad, Jelly Bean Bryant, was also a really good basketball player. So you can see how someone who's highly motivated, highly competitive, is surrounded by other people who are highly competitive, and then on top of that, your dad is actually one of the greatest basketball players alive. You can see how that instills in him hard work. He was surrounded by the example. And remember, you are a product of your environment. Kobe Bryant's competitive spirit first started off, one, genetically, because his family was highly competitive, and then above all, environmentally. So just that creates the blueprint to Kobe Bryant. But it didn't stop there. I believe this next part is a big contributor to Kobe Bryant, right? And I believe that people who are shunned, people who feel isolated, tend to be better at what they do, right? Kobe Bryant was isolated in two different ways, right? Remember, he was raised in Italy, right? So he was isolated in culture. And then in basketball, because he was the youngest person on his team for the better part of the initial of his career, he was also isolated because of his age. So what happened? Kobe Bryant then couldn't really go out with his teammates after the game because he wasn't of age, right? He followed the rules. That's the thing about Kobe. He followed the rules to the T, meaning the rules to succeed. So what he said that he felt isolated in Italy. So because he couldn't make a lot of friends, that's the thing about Kobe when he was growing up. He struggled making friends. I believe that Kobe was an avoidant. In terms of his attachment style, he was an avoidant. He was very distant from his family, like from his dad, mom and dad. And so because of that, he felt completely isolated. And this caused him to isolate himself, to practice more, to feel significant. A boy who's isolated from his family has a certain sense of insignificance inside of his heart. And a lot of times, the only way for them to stand out, the only way for them to feel accepted is to be hyper competitive, right? In other words, he sort of, in order to fit in order to be like, the only way he knew was being a competitive person. And above all, to work harder, to gain some type of prestige and love and attention, not from close relationships, because he just didn't have that type of attachment style. He preferred getting that adoration from people at a distance. So he wasn't normal. He wasn't like most people who can make friends. He wasn't like most people who got his self-esteem from close relationships. So then people like that become hyper competitive and try to beat everyone around them. So remember, his lack of friendship drove his competitive spirit. And you can see how that happens. Really isolated people develop those types of habits. I think that, you see, that's why Kobe and Jordan was different. Jordan had a great relationship with his parents, right? Now, this is my favorite part about Kobe, right? Not just my favorite part. Let's remember this. Kobe, highly competitive people are insecure at the core. So they compensate by being hyper competitive. So it goes with the next point, and this is actually really interesting, is that Kobe is a master of dark energy. Meaning that he used revenge as motivation, anger as motivation. He didn't forget wrongs. Remember, I think it was with Stan Van Gundy or Jeff Van Gundy, they didn't let him get back in the game to play against Michael Jordan. And because of that, Kobe remembered that. I think it was Stan Van Gundy, and said to himself, against me, Stan will never win another game. And guess what? Who did he beat in the finals? The Magic, coached by Stan Van Gundy, right? So he uses dark energy. It's kind of like when Jordan said, I didn't forget. He said this to me, and because of that, I would never forget. That type of dark energy, Kobe Bryant used a lot, where a lot of people, if you're a Christian, if you have a healthy self-esteem, you would not use that as fuel, or at least as much as Kobe, right? You would use finding happiness from within, finding happiness from other people. And the reason why is because Kobe wasn't just genetically, because honestly, Kobe had two types of motivations, right? He had internal motivation and external. Remember, the internal was his personality type and his genetics. He was raised in a competitive environment, isolated from his family, and as a result, in order to feel more significant, in order to feel some sort of connection, he had to be a very competitive person. But also externally, right? When you feel like you don't belong, you feel like the whole world is against you. Kobe Bryant created an us versus them dynamic where it was him versus the world. And a lot of people feel uncomfortable with that mindset. But Kobe thrived under those conditions, which kind of goes into the next point, which is the death ground strategy. The death ground method. What does that mean? Death ground is when you feel like you're trapped and you have no other escape but to fight your way out or die. Kobe Bryant a lot of the time said that when he first started to play basketball, he was known as a phenom in the NBA. But he said specifically that when he first started, he felt like he needed to earn everyone's respect. Whereas most players start off and say, I'm the man. Kobe, being Kobe, felt like he didn't belong. Felt like he didn't earn what he got. So as a result, he had to work for it. So Kobe Bryant even said many times that he felt like he had to earn a spot. He felt like he had to earn minutes. And it's actually true. In his first season, Kobe Bryant only averaged 8 minutes per game, right? And so rather than get angry and feel entitled, Kobe Bryant took that as a fact. Kobe Bryant said, okay, maybe I'm not good enough for the minutes. Let me become good enough for the minutes. Where some players will get resentful, will get angry, will stop trying. Kobe never felt entitled. He said, oh, you think they're better than me? Okay, bet, watch this. Then he would go at the gym and practice. And this is where the next thing about Kobe is that he was the first to arrive and the last to leave. And the reason why he did that was, for one, to get better. I remember Kobe Bryant saying that he practiced three times a day. And the reason why he practiced 3 times a day, he said most people practice one time a day. If I do this for the next 8 years, you will never catch up to me. So he understood the power of being consistent over a long period of time. He believed that if he was consistent, more consistent than you, in the long run, he's going to be better than you. You're not going to be able to catch up with him, right? And the next thing about Kobe that I really loved, okay, this is my favorite one, is that he used his work ethic as a weapon, right? And he would know that some people were watching him. So he would intentionally get to the gym earlier, get a lot of sweat in, so that the players during the Olympics, when all of the best players would like hang out together, all the players say, yo, this motherfucker, I came in, he was working. I went out on the break. 3 hours later, I came back, he was still working. What people didn't know is that Kobe, a lot of the times, faked working. He did that as a way to intimidate, as a way to instill fear, as a way to tell people, yo, you're never going to be better than me. Don't even try. And that's actually a very interesting way of doing it, where he kind of demotivates people. And I find this fascinating. He literally made sure that people saw how much he worked, and he would exaggerate it, like set it up, like as a way to psychologically fuck with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I've never heard anyone use work ethic as a way to fuck with you, as a way to make you realize that you're never going to be better than me. Just give up. And that, to me, is the epitome of somebody who knows how to use their work ethic as a weapon. It's truly a beautiful thing. Beautiful, beautiful thing. And the last one is that Kobe Bryant worked on his weaknesses. Kobe Bryant was aggressive towards his weaknesses, right? And it was kind of similar to Leonardo da Vinci, right? He attacked his weakness. They said that Kobe needed to work on his left hand. So for a whole day, he worked on his left hand. He would isolate his weaknesses. He would find out what his weakness is, or what everyone else's weakness is, and he would make sure that that was his strength. It was the detail orientation, the obsessiveness, the manicness, the willingness to sacrifice his family life. It's like they even said that Kobe didn't have a good family life. You know, I feel bad for the guy. He didn't have it. Like he tried, like he was, you know, honestly, I cried when Kobe died. Like, I really cried. Like I really cried. Like I just didn't expect to cry when Kobe died, to be honest with you. But the guy was repairing a lot of his relationships. He was trying to make up for lost time, you know, because the guy was just so obsessed with basketball that he ruined his personal life. You know, a lot of people don't see the lives of these NBA players. Their personal life is a lot of times a complete wreck. And Kobe Bryant sacrificed all of that to become a great player. And you might say, was it worth it? I don't know if it was worth it. I truly don't know. All I know is that to be him, you have to sacrifice your family life. He sacrificed friendship. He sacrificed his own personal well-being. He sacrificed his body for it. And he became one of the greatest players of all time. And I believe he is an inspiration for all of us, that we could just look at his work ethic, hear his motivational speech. And my God, did I underrate him when he was alive. Oh, my God, I really did. I really didn't see the beauty in his game. Unfortunately, death has this ability to shine the beauty that lies in every single one of us, only after our death. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what other person to break down, and I'll see you guys next. All right, guys, we're going to have a brief intermission so that I can tell you guys about our new bundle that we're doing, where you guys can purchase all of my courses and get it at a discount. So this bundle is pretty much the bundle where you could just buy all of my courses. You could buy Nice Guy, which is a training course on how to come across more assertive, how to come across more confident, how to not give off nice guy vibes. You guys can get access to Dark Game, which is my full dating course on how to meet women in different scenarios, how to attract women, how to make sure you don't come across as creepy, and essentially how to act like a man and not act like a doofus, to be quite honest with you.
And you get all of these bonuses, which is the bonuses of Dark Game, the bonuses of Practical Mastery, which is about how to master a skill, Social Mastery, which is how to master your social life, and the Laws of Human Nature, which is a book club video that I had dissecting Robert Greene's book. All of this is naturally at around naturally is at $346, but you guys can purchase this bundle and get it at what's the price again? Get it at $238 pretty much. So you guys can purchase it right now. It's a money back 30-day money back guarantee. It's a good way to, rather than just buying them individually and paying extra, you guys can just purchase everything at a discount price. Now, the only thing I don't like is the fact that I'm giving you a lot of information at the same time. That makes me kind of scared, because a lot of times people don't do the things that I teach when you get too much information. But I've gotten too many requests to do this, so I'm just satisfying you guys. Purchase it right now by clicking on the description down below where it says purchase the bundle. All right, let's continue with the video.